like to tell you how I discovered the encrusted jewel technique. It all started when I went back to CHA for our trade show in Chicago, and we had all of these lovely new micas and glitters and embossing powders, and I had some great ideas on the plane. I was eager to get started with testing some things out, and so I put everything into open containers on my table, and then I realized I'd forgotten any kind of a glue pen, which I would have used to adhere the glitters and things. And so while I was thinking about that and figuring out what I was going to do, and I had everything set up, one of our dear customers came along and was so intrigued with the glass glitter, she picked it up, and because I'd taken the lid off, it went flying, and I had glass glitter in every one of my mixes all the way up and down the table. But the fun thing is, what could have been a mishap turned out to be a very happy accident in the end, because it helped me discover the encrusted jewel technique. Starting with my magical snowman, I'm going to ink him with VersaMark ink, which is a clear, slow-drying ink. And I'm stamping him on this white paper that I spritzed with coffee. It's had a chance to dry now. And one of our new embossing powders that gives me the finest detail is this vintage mahogany. I love the beautiful color and the sparkle to it. Tap on the back. Make sure I catch the star up there. Okay. And our embossing powders that have tinsel in them mean the glitter is right mixed in with the embossing powder. So once I heat it, it'll set and be more secure than just using a glue pad and glitter separately. The VersaMarker ink, like the ink pad, gives me a very nice way to do some spot areas of embossing detail. So I'm going to fill in the star, his little rough collar, and the star up on top here. And for these I'm going to use the aged silver, cover all of those areas, and we'll just put that right back into the jar. But now I discovered a very fun thing that you can do in addition to this, and let's say we take some of our beautiful sparkly, this is one of the glitter mixes, and if I put that down on top of the embossing powder, and again heat from underneath, we'll get a beautiful effect. It's so sparkly, and you can turn it over to test and see that everything is now just melted right in. So let's add a couple more things around the edges here. And Tsukineko came out with a lovely new ink pad that's golden glitz, and we'll use this on a large design to add a bit of flourish down here at the bottom. I didn't have another jumbo handle available, but that's okay. We'll just use this off the edge. I like how it makes an interesting abstract design when you go around the edges with it. Isn't that nice? Now, on this area, let's do some of the aged gold, and we'll just sprinkle some of this on and leave some of the ink showing as well. And the way it breaks up and makes interesting patterns is all the more fun. And again, since this is a chunky gold glitter with other things mixed into it, we'll heat from underneath. The chunky size of the granulations fills in some of the detail, pulls away, makes very interesting little sprinkles, and a lot of fun results. Now we're going to take another step with the encrusted jewel technique, and we're going to sprinkle some white. And again, because this is chunky, you get some really nice large granulations. And we're going to add to that any number of other things. We're just going to spoon a bit more of these different elements on top. And let's take some of the pearlized fragments. These are mica fragments. They're all different sizes and bits and pieces. And let's take some of the shaved ice. Now the mica fragments are a mineral and they don't melt, but these shaved ice and some of these other glitters will melt, giving us all the more interesting result. So we'll put a whole pile of interesting little things down here as if it were a little snowbank. And now be sure and heat from underneath, and we'll see how this looks. You can do a test and see. Most of it's hanging on, and it's been melted down into the embossing powders as your adhesive. So that gives you a beautiful encrusted jewel effect. You have to see up close to really see all the detail and the color to it. And now I'd like to add one last thing around the edges. And for this, I've taken a couple of my clear stamp designs of some postcard and writing. And again, with the VersaMark ink, I'm going to stamp some bits of this print around the edges. Let's turn this a little bit further. Okay, and now simply take your chalk, and as you come in and rub over the sticky ink areas, it will find those detailed patterns that you stamped and give you a very interesting fade in and out look that is really nice and sort of just finishes off the whole card. So there you have all the elements that went into doing this type of beautiful card. That here's the one that we did all finished.